We designed a short video to help you understand your students' TCAP performance report. The TCAP stands for Transitional Colorado Assessment Program, and it's basically a test that every single student in the state of Colorado will take towards the end of their school year. So it's usually in the late springtime, and the test will assess students' performance in mathematics, reading, writing, and in science. As we go through, I will highlight different parts of the TCAP performance report. That way I can direct your attention. So the first place I want you to look at is just in the top left-hand corner. That's where it says TCAP, Transitional Colorado Assessment Program. This is your student's performance report. Next, we have the overall performance level score report. Let's direct your attention to the highlighted area where you'll see the words writing overall performance level. So we know that the subject that this student's score was based in writing. There are 4 levels that a student can earn. The first one is considered unsatisfactory. That's level 1. The second level is considered partially proficient. That's level 2. Third level is called proficient, and the fourth level is called advanced. Our goal here at Sierra High School and in the state of Colorado is to see all of our students proficient or advanced. This next screenshot shows you the actual score that this student scored on the writing component of the TCAP test. I've enlarged the score report just so to make it a little easier on your eyes. If you notice, the same levels that I described earlier are actually now highlighted on the screen. You see unsatisfactory. You now see partially proficient. The next level is proficient. And the next level is advanced. I've highlighted the student's score so you know what he or she scored on the writing piece. And as you can see in the red circle, they scored 613. And what this means is that the student scored proficient on the TCAP writing test. And here's just, I wanted to highlight the actual bar so you see where it aligned with the different levels. And you notice I have that checkered line going down to show you that it's within the proficient range, and they have a score of 613. Below your score report, you'll notice that there's a box highlighted that says Writing Diagnostic Scores by Content Standard and Sub-Content Area. So what's unique about this TCAP score report is that not only will it give your student score, it'll also explain to you the 2 standard levels that the students were required to know, and then they break them down into sub-contents. So let me explain what I mean. Here's an enlargement of that same highlighted chart. So the first one we're going to take a look at is students receive a check mark if they scored proficient or above on the standard. As you can see, there's also the choice to be below proficient, but this student was proficient or above, so they received the check mark in that right-hand box. I've highlighted the first standard. In the first standard, it states, write for a variety of purposes. Student writes for a variety of purposes and audiences. And so when the student was scored, they said he was proficient or above. Now, it's important to note that each standard is then broken down into 2 sub-contents, at least on the writing test. The first sub-content area you see is called paragraph writing, and the second one is extended writing. And there's a brief description of each sub-content, and then towards the right, as you move right, you notice that there are check marks again, and they align underneath the words that say proficient or above, so we know that this student was proficient or above in each sub-content area. If we move on to the second standard, we know that it's write using conventions. Student writes using standard grammar, sentence structure, punctuation, capitalization, and spelling. And as we can tell, that check mark aligns with the box under proficient or above. And then if we move over to the sub-content area, we know this student was tested on grammar and usage and mechanics. And again, if we look at to see where those check marks are, we notice that this student scored proficient in each. So what is helpful about these score reports is that we know that our student scored 613, but then we also know what exactly the student was tested on according to the standards, and then they break the standards down into sub-content areas. So within those sub-content areas, you can find out where your student has proficiency or where they might have below proficiency, and then those are the areas we'd want to improve. If you flip your student score report over, you'll notice that there's an explanation of the performance level descriptions. You'll notice there's advanced, proficient, partially proficient, and unsatisfactory. And under each performance level, it explains what type of work they were expecting students to produce in order to achieve that performance level. You'll notice if you see the unsatisfactory performance level 1, students produce writing that lacks focus. But as you move up to the advanced level, you see that students produce writing that is engaging and organized, etc. One thing that I'd like to keep in mind is that the information presented on this video is just an example. It was based on an 8th grade writing score report. The point I'm just trying to emphasize to parents is that you use this information and talk about it with your son or daughter, so you may figure out what level they're at, and then you guys will be able to figure out what level they need to get to and what type of work they'll need to produce. So you can't see it on this video, but if you look down at your score report you have in front of you, there's a parent explanation section, and that section gives you a little bit of information regarding the TCAP test, how it was designed, and the purpose. I hope you found this video helpful. As mentioned earlier in this video, our goal is to have everyone reach the proficient level or the advanced performance level. So use this information, and please contact Sierra High School if you have any questions related to this TCAP performance report.